some of you have actually tried to spend some time studying this, especially those of you that have actually spent some time trying to study for this, and even those of you that haven't, which, by the way, you will not succeed.
Spend 5 minutes.
And listen, I'm not going to sit here and try and sugarcoat anything. If you have not been preparing for at least a week for the quiz, you will not pass. There it is. I'm not trying to be negative. I am just, I've been doing this for over 20 years. I know what it takes to know this stuff. If you haven't started preparing for it, you will not be successful this time. Fortunately for you, will there be another time? That's good, you know that rule. But remember, this is one of the 3 that you are allowed to retake.
What?
I told you that. I told you that.
I'm saying here, man. You got to tell us nothing. You just
Say his ain't no rejection.
no rejection. Come back next year. That's what you said.
There are 3 quizzes that you're allowed to retake. You must be my only class that did not know this.
Yes. Because you never tell us.
Element quiz, monatomic ion quiz, polyatomic ion quiz. Okay, keep going with the questions.
Can you take all of them?
Keep going. There's more questions. Yes.
So,
Wait, can we retake it?
so the one with the Friday.
The end of the quarter.
So we can retake it eventually get a transcript?
Sure.
He's joking.
Yes.
Can I retake it next week?
Next question.
What's the
There's
trick?
another question, Have.
Are you taking the best one?
Yes.
What's the trick?
That's no trick.
You like the catch? Is it like you can only get
The catch is,
Next
the
year.
more times you do this, the better you learn them, so that when we get to the next thing, you'll actually have a chance of passing that.
Is it like full credit?
Wait, so it's actually, there's nothing like you're gonna trigger us and make us fail.
Wait.
Yeah.
Well, no, there's a lot of things I'm going to do to make you fail. But the more you know these, there's less chance that's going to happen. Go
Is
ahead.
it gonna be like full credit retake or like you can only
Josh, can you address that for me, please?
Alright, here's the problem.
There's nothing
I
bad
get that
that
we
goes
serious or we joking.
No.
that we would think is bad.
Nobody's
No.
joking, just have to be serious.
Are we ready?
Yes, we can.
Now, looking at that list,
Oh wait, I have another question.
What is it?
When are we gonna get this back?
maybe today,
When he's ready.
Why not? Maybe.
because we have things to do. Unless you don't want to go over this.
Somebody can pass it.
Let's do this. Can anyone notice, looking at the formulas, looking at the formulas of the polyatomic ions, the majority of the formulas have something in common. There's actually 2 things they have in common, but okay, let's answer the question that I asked. Looking at the formulas, is there anything that the majority of them have in common? Part of your answer was correct. Go ahead. Most of them have oxygen in them. You guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Most of them have oxygen in them. Now, looking at the names of the ions and comparing them to the ones and looking at the ones that have oxygen in them, what are you noticing? Braden? The ones that end in oxygen, sorry about that, the majority of the ones that have oxygen in their formulas, their names have ITE or ATE associated with them. Would you guys agree with that? Okay, now, if we haven't had this discussion yet? Okay, hang on. What is the symbol and charge for that ion? Anyone, just shout it out. Symbol and charge. NO 3 with a 1 negative charge. What is the symbol and charge for this ion? NO2 with a 1 negative charge. What is the symbol and charge for that ion? Cl3,
3, 1 negative. 3, 1 negative.
Cl3, 1 negative.
CO, 3.
ClO.
What is the symbol and charge for this?
ClO, 2, 1 negative.
What is the symbol and charge for this ion?
Two negative.
What's the symbol and charge for this ion?
SO3, 2 negative.
Huh. What's the symbol and charge for this ion?
PO4, 3 negative.
Well then, what's the symbol and charge for this ion?
I'm guessing.
Why are you guessing?
It's not on there.
It's not?
No.
That's not on there?
No.
Then how could we ever possibly know what it is?
You made it up.
I did not make it up. This stuff exists. I could ask the question. Yes?
Because of sulfite.
What is it?
If it ends in ITE, it's one less than H.
So what's its formula?
PO3, 2 negative.
There you go. And that is correct. So what's the observation?
The
The ites are one less oxygen than the eights. Same charge.
So 8 is 2 negative.
It's just that the ites have one less oxygen than the eights. So there's three things we should have learned from this little exercise. One, the ites have one less oxygen than the eights. Two, if you know the eights, you don't have to learn the ites. Because you already know if there's one less than the 8. Did you guys agree?
Yeah.
And something else we just learned from this little exercise. This is a valid question for the quiz Wednesday. Is that on your list? No. But the 8's on the list, and if you know the 8, then I expect you to be able to know the height. Are you following? Does that look pretty good? So really, I've just reduced the number of things that you need to know by increasing the number of things you need to know. Isn't that weird? But anyway, but wait, there's more. What's the symbol and charge for that ion?
That's it. That's it. 3.
David says SE.
Oh.
Oh.
3.
Are you guessing?
Yeah, but it's not.
You don't have to guess. He's so far so good. What, Mallory?
It's 4.
Why do you think it would be SeO4?
8.
Plus
Are you guessing also? That's okay. There's reasoning behind.
3.
Keep going.
Are they in the same column?
They are.
Oh, yeah.
Therefore, they have the same number of valence electrons. Therefore, they're going to behave very similarly. So since sulfate has 4 oxygens, you would think then that selenate would also have 4 oxygens. And what do you think its charge is going to be?
2 negative.
2 negative. There you go.
Okay, now I get it.
Can anyone give me the symbol and charge for this ion? SeO3, 2 negative. Well, this is pretty easy.
IT is 2 negative.
1 One less.
What about this?
A-R.
A-S.
Is it A-S?
Yeah, I see.
Oh, yeah, I see. A-S. 3,
A-S.
4.
There, we've all concluded that it's AS.
4 negative 3. 4, 3 negative.
O,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
4.
Yeah.
One
Negative 3, 2.
What is it?
Negative 2. 1.
3. All of them.
Charge someone.
3.
Why is it 3 negative? It's in the same group as phosphorus. Same number of valence electrons, going to behave very similarly. You can see where I'm going on the next one. Yep. Arsenite is going to be
3 negative 3.
There you go. So once again, once you know the eights of the top B's, then you can figure out a lot of other things. You
Yes.
agree?
Yes.
Yeah? Just for fun.
Actually makes sense. It's a last one. I really can't see. I see
Okay, just for fun.
I or 3. Negative 1. 1 negative.
So isn't this kind of cool? Just by knowing a handful of those things in the back of your periodic table, you actually have access to a huge amount of other knowledge. Okay? I can ask you any of these for the quiz on Wednesday.
Do it.
Okay? Now, you're seeing a pattern here. This is kind of reduced the amount of studying that you're going to have to do a little bit, okay? But I'm telling you what, there's some that are just flat out hard. Here's one of them. Ooh, here's a person that has studied. Now, what's the charge? Deal with that.
1 negative.
One
Now I
negative.
know it.
Okay.
Base tape,
Is that 1?
Yes.
Is that on the way back?
Oh yeah, we're gonna go, yeah, listen, the format of the quiz is gonna be exactly like the other two. Half of it, one side of it's gonna be the names, you provide the symbol and charge, the other side is gonna have the symbol and charge, you provide the name. You guys get this now, right? You guys know what's gonna happen.
Is that carbohydrate or something?
No, it's acetate.
Close.
It's the acetate
I
ion.
like to remember that from bio, but.
Not close.
Here's another one that many students find difficult. Ammonium. Very good.
What? How's that ammonium?
Because it says so right next to it.
No, I said like nitrogen.
Are you noticing why I'm saying this is difficult?
Yes.
Okay? Now, here's what I get a lot of students doing, and many of you will do this on Wednesday when you haven't studied enough and forgot what these are. I'll have people do things like, what's the name of this? Oh, sulfur oxygen 3.
Yeah.
No, seriously, that it's going to happen. Just don't do it. You're not going to name the individual elements. Okay, just getting it out of the way. Now, there's one more set that I've found students have a little couple of them students have a little difficulty with. And these are the ones that do not end in ATE or ITE. Some of you might know this one. Maybe cyanide. That's good. That's cyanide. And this one is hydroxide.
Man, I know.
Okay. You just flat out have to know that. You just flat out have to know that.
Oh, wait.
That's easy.
Yes.
Maybe like put H.
No, don't. No, that's not correct. Would not count. If you put one negative, then you get half a point. So don't do it.
Charge
How
rate.
do you know the charge?
I'm sorry, what?
If we get the charge rate, we get half a
Right,
point,
right.
and then we get a point listed.
Yes. That's exactly how I've been grading all of this stuff.
How do you get
Yes,
the-
Braden.
Is there a trick to the charge?
Yeah.
No. No, there is not. No, flat out, there is not. However, there is a little bit over here, and I don't know if you guys have recognized it yet. The phosphorus polyatomic ion and the arsenic polyatomic ions
Three
both
negative.
had 3 negatives. Well, what's phosphide and arsenide?
Three negative.
3 negative. The sulfur and the selenium
2 negative.
had 2 negatives. Their polyatomic ions also had 2 negatives. And the chlorine, the bromine, the iodine all
One
had
negative.
1 negative. So there's, who's asking the question?
David.
Right, Braden.
David and Brad.
So there's a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But then not everything follows that way. Like I was saying up here, this doesn't follow, this doesn't follow. Okay? Yes, Maddie.
So that goes like 1, 2, 3, and then we skip 1, -2, -2, -1. Isn't the one that we skip like plus or minus 4?
Yeah, and that's that whole. These don't form ions though, because there's a whole branch of chemistry based on that right there. It's called organic chemistry. Oh, right? Yeah, okay. So we're not even gonna go there. Now down here, the tin and the lead, yeah, we do things with. Okay. Let me see. Oh, but wait, there's more.
No, it's everything.
Okay. Has anyone tried playing with these two yet?
Ferricide.
Okay. What's the name of the first one?
Ferricide.
Ferricyanide, or E, whatever. And what's the second one? Ferro. Now, where did the ferro and ferri come from?
Iron.
If you remember back when I was teaching you about the element quiz and we were looking at why some of the symbols didn't match up with their names because they went to Latin names, didn't I write a bunch of Latin names up there? Some of you may have also written those down. The Latin name for iron is ferrum. You may or may not remember that, okay? So that's why this is there, because each of these has iron. You can clearly see where the cyanide piece comes from, right? From the cyanide. Now, what's the charge on the cyanide ion? Rhetorical question.
3 negative.
What's the charge? Yeah, it's a 1 negative. Uh-oh, got a problem. There it is. It's a 1 negative charge. So that means there are 6 negative charges here. Would you agree? If the whole thing has to equal 3 negative, how do you go from 6 negative to 3 negative? You need what? Positive 3. Iron 3. Once again, we have 6 negative charges here. And the whole thing has to equal 4 negative charges. How do we go from -6 to -4? Plus 2. Iron 2. Now, you remember iron 2 and iron 3 from the other stuff we did, right? The monatomic ion quiz? Now, how do we remember which name goes with which? In my opinion, there's a handy little way of doing that. I is high, O is low. Okay? So ferricyanide, I, has the higher of the 2 charges, iron 3. Iron 2 is the ferrocyanide. I just showed you how to figure out which one's iron 2 and which one's iron 3. You guys can figure this out any way you want to. I don't care. Okay? But I'm just showing you where it comes from. Oh, let me see. What else? You know, the oxalate ion, that always causes problems. I mean, here's what it comes down to. Morgan, what's that person's name beside you? Do you Josh? How do you know that? You spent some time with Josh? You're familiar with him? You've been around Josh for a while. I'm not saying you're boyfriend and girlfriend.
Right, we sit next to each other.
Right. You ever had other classes with him?
No.
Oh, so you just found out about him this year?
Yeah.
Yet you know his name.
Right.
That didn't take long. Wow. Allie, what's that girl's name? Son? How do you know that? For a while? So you got to know each other. You guys are going to have to spend some time with Mr. Oxalate. You're going to have to spend some time with Mr. Hydroxide. Get to know them. Know their names. Okay? That's all it comes down to. You just got to do it. You have to spend time. Time is all this requires. Really it is. I know, that thing that you guys hate, spending time working on school. That's what it takes. You know, not much I can do from here. I mean, it's all up to you now. I've shown you about all the little things that I can show you. Wow, you just got to do it. You just have to do it. Okay, that's it. On to the next thing.